Hey YouTube, I'm back. So I'm still doing looking at some videos from the Married at First Sight, and I came across this couple, and like the first lady on that last video, the continued video, this is a Christian couple that's black, and I want you to listen to the level of confidence that they have in their information about this woman that I'm telling you about on the show. Her name is Jasmina. And it really kind of puts me in mind to the Lord and the confidence that people felt when they arrested him. And people were so confident in what they thought they knew. They were bold enough to go and slap him and spit on him and just, manhandle him all kinds of ways. And he was innocent. The Lord was innocent. And these were his own people. So a lot of people, they're like, oh, the Jews killed Jesus. Okay, whatever. Okay, we'll say the Pharisees. And people are talking about modern day Jews. But what people don't want to accept is that the people of God, if you go back and you look at Jacob and all of his wives, he had 2 wives, and they had like how many of their maidservants that had kids, with Jacob. So he didn't just have kids with his wives. He also had children outside of his marriage with the maids of his wives. So you're talking about different cultures. The kingdom of God is going to be made up of different cultures. So I'm going to leave that right there for now. But these would be the same if you superimpose Christians today, I don't care what denomination, if you superimpose them on top of the Pharisees and the Gospels, you're going to get the same group of people. That's the basic message of what I'm trying to tell you. So keep in mind, this video is titled, Told You So. So this is a couple who I've listened to a couple of their videos, and they really are sad. They are so proud. Like, she's so proud to have this joker as a husband, and he's really not. He's not. He's nothing to be proud of. And then she said, in the video, I can't remember if it's in this part or if it's in the other part that I'm going to play, because they're going to talk about another couple that I was talking about on that last video too, Katina and Olajuwon. And I'm going to tell you some stuff that happened with this guy and show you. I can actually do another video showing you the type of language and the type of guy that they have been supporting and telling everybody to support all season long. And this guy abused his wife the entire season. I mean, from the time they got off their honeymoon until the time they sat on the couch for decision day, this joker didn't do nothing but belittle and demean and humiliate his wife. So I'll fill you in on that, couple on that next video. And it's just something. And I just, again, want you to hear the pride and the arrogance and the ignorance, that I hear and see happening. But I'm not going to do the video. I'm just going to do the audio of the video. So here we go.
It's on a high note. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I told you so. I told you so. All of y'all. I just want all of y'all. I low key want to start naming names. I low key want to. Wakil, I'm sorry. I got it. I told you so. You know what I'm saying? We talked about this for weeks. We talked about it for weeks. We talked about how Jasmina was playing everybody. Doing the Alyssa game to everybody for weeks. And kudos to some of you who saw it and saw through her bullshit as well. But a lot of y'all didn't. Lily, I'm talking about all the people on Twitter.
Not our Lily.
No. Oh. This is another Lily on Twitter. You know exactly who you are. I'm calling some of y'all out because y'all had a lot of big energy for me. Oh, they're gonna stay together. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh yes, they gonna stay together, and they I see their potential and blah 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 blah.
We saw the potential too. Jasmina did not.
Let me tell you something.
And that's really all that matters.
Jasmina is just as full of shit as Alyssa is.
I mean,
this whole thing was a setup. I told y'all this whole thing was a setup, and that's why I told y'all need to wait until the reunion because they were filming right along into the decision day, and so she was gonna save face as long as she was ghost.
So let's back up. Let's backpedal pussy pop because I really want to just dive into some things that she said. So first she said that they did not talk for a month because she described an argument that she had not even an argument that she had with Michael as aggressive. She described Michael as aggressive. So those are two different things.
More Alyssa bullshit. This is just but take out mental illness and input. Oh, he's been aggressive.
But I wanna unpack that. How do you feel about the term? So Michael's issue was that the term aggressive, his feeling was for you to align me with that term, knowing how black men are seen was insensitive.
But especially when you know that
inaccurate.
But especially when you know that it's a Karen moment and it's bullshit and you didn't do anything. He was at 1,000% right to completely fall back and be like, if that's what you're gonna do, I need to protect myself. If that's what you're gonna cry wolf on me, and knowing that I didn't go anywhere, we've seen Michael demeanor. No one ever got Michael confused with Olajuwon.
Nobody ever got Michael confused with Hurricane K.
No one, right?
She came off one way and then turned into a whole different.
Right. So we've seen it play out in.
But I don't even think Olajuwon is aggressive.
No, he's not. I'm talking about just in the far of emotion and passionate.
Okay.
So for you to even call him like he's not. He's not
even emotionally.
He's not even passionate. Yeah, Michael is going to talk to you like, I don't know what you're talking about, Jasmina. Please help me. Like,
but I want to say this.
But let me just get to it before I forget my point. I think that we've seen it play out on camera when they were having a discussion. Michael was using his inside voice, and he said something. I don't remember what the discussion was about. But he said something like, I don't really understand what you mean. And she said, whoa, slow down, Michael. Watch your tone. Watch it. It was, we saw her do it. We saw this play out on camera. So we know it's bullshit. It's easy to call bullshit on bullshit that you see. And so we've seen her do it. So for her, she's tried to go in this bag of, well, y'all didn't see it. She tried to go in that bag before. It's just more crime. I'm telling y'all, she's the black Alyssa, and y'all, kudos to the ones who saw through it, because it took some of y'all. It took y'all a while.
It took a season.
Some of y'all it took a while because I could hit y'all screenshots on Twitter from earlier, and then y'all singing a completely different song towards the end of the season, but y'all got there. So respect to that. But I can't believe that so many of y'all didn't see this coming. This was just her trying to play this out for the entire season, and then it was by the book. It was a textbook bullshit.
So, okay. So I want to give her this is the grace I'm going to give Jasmina. If I can find it. I think what I want to say is, now I just watched this, y'all, and I'm going to be honest, I really wasn't feeling the whole situation or whatever the case may be. It was very annoying to me, if I'm being 100. However, I can understand how if you don't know somebody, and I'm just giving grace. I don't know the situation. This is me giving grace. If you don't know somebody and you have an argument with them, if you could be off put by how they respond in an argument or whatever the case may be. Now I can say that and say, I don't think Jasmina uses the nicest tone. I don't think that she speaks in the nicest manner. I don't think that she uses the greatest words to explain her feelings. And I think she can come off condescending and snarky and mean. And so I think what I'm getting at is that I think he might have just had tea for her fever and she just wasn't used to somebody keeping the energy.
Being off put is very different from basically calling somebody.
I didn't like the use of the word. So let me say. Hold on.
Let me just say this. Being off put is very different from basically calling somebody abusive.
Well, she said, okay.
You understand what
and
I'm
she doubled down on aggressive. I try not to use aggressive.
But you understand?
Too.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't. It's again. I don't want to, similar to Alyssa. I don't want to legitimize her bullshit because having a difference of communication styles is very different. Having growing pains in a relationship is very different from labeling somebody this aggressor, this emotional aggressor or physical aggressor or whatever. It's very different, and it is dangerous to throw these things around, especially when you're dealing with people of color.
And that's the biggest issue I take with this. I think that I'm so personally conscientious of how, even when we argue and even if we're loud, I'm so conscientious of all those things because you can't control other people's perception of your situation. 1,000%. Right? So, I'm constantly thinking about that. And even I took a little bit, it bothered me. Being in a space with a black man, having a relationship with a black man, sharing a life with a black man, and even me as a black woman, I don't like that term used for black people, period. It is historically negative. It does have terrible connotations. And I think that it was, as educated as I think this young woman is, I think that it was irresponsible of her to use that language, and for her to double down on it just says that she really has no respect for him. Because even if
it was an opportunity for her because this was intentional.
Because even if y'all had that argument, right, and then a month go by, some time go by, y'all vibing, whatever the case may be, you could run back in your mind and say, you know what, I might have used the word aggressive, but that's not what he was giving me in the time.
It was an easy crutch for her, especially in the event that the cameras weren't rolling. Like whenever she felt like it's saying, whenever she needed an excuse for her actions, she just said, well, y'all wasn't there. And we had an argument where he was aggressive.
Yeah.
So I'm over the bullshit.
Us.
Yeah. I'm over the bullshit with her.
But I do feel like, I was proud of Michael for being like, no, I'm getting right back in the dating pool. I ain't got to take no pauses. Damn right, baby. You get yourself right back the fuck out there and I wouldn't even call her my ex-wife.
No.
Fuck her.
Don't call her anything.
I'm so annoyed by this because, and it's weird, y'all, because I really don't like men. But I have something about Michael I really like. He has a really nice demeanor. He's a man who comes from women. So, he treats women well, or at least, wants to uphold some standard of respect with them. And to see how everything is a joke. Even when the boy said like, oh, well, you was a friend. She was like, I said he was a friend. I said he was a friend from the beginning.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Hold on. Let me get it back. I messed up. Oh, come on.
It was a fucking weirdo.
It was giving real Mirla vibes, like this is not funny.
It's not funny at all. This man didn't sign up for this.
This is not a joke to him.
And you did. You're not. Never once did this woman say she was coming on here to find the love of her life. Not once. You want to know why? Because she never was. Yeah. She never was. And the weird thing is that a lot of y'all, I don't even know that. I'm gonna be honest. I think I wanted her to be a romantic and wanted her to be somebody who wanted this, but it was very clear over time that this was not to be in a relationship. This was a game show. Oh, let me get to the end and see what kind of bag I'm gonna get at the end of this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he never could. Now, let me say this. I want to speak to another thing where I kind of agree with her. Because I'm with a Pisces. But one of the issues that Joe and I dealt with early in our relationship is that Joe was not a man who said like, oh, you look beautiful today. He's still kind of, he's working. He's much better than what he was. But I do think that,
that was an excuse. She was never into him. We're not going to sit here and legitimize anything that she said. I'm sorry.
But I don't even want it to be a legitimizing thing.
Because it was bullshit. She was looking for excuses.
But I'm not trying I'm not trying to talk about this from her space, but more of a general space. Okay. And how those things are important to people and people. And I'm emphasizing that because I think that whomever you're in a relationship with, we talk about love languages and everything like that. Like words of affirmation are important to people. That's how you manifest things. You know what I mean? So you should be telling the person that you look beautiful, you're so smart, you're funny, boop de boop, right? And I do think that curates a certain kind of relationship and bond. I don't know. What do you think?
I think, like Michael said, you're not going there. You can't woo somebody who doesn't want to be wooed.
But I'm speaking generally. I'm not speaking to.
Yeah, and generally, absolutely. I just think like.
But I agree with what Michael said and how he rebutted.
Because that's what they were saying to him.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I didn't like that.
That's what they were saying to him. And to me, it legitimized her excuse, y'all. We saw this from very early on. Many people said she's clearly not into him. She's just not into him. She was giving him friend vibes very early on. You're not gonna shower somebody who's giving you the Heisman with compliments. You're not gonna woo this woman who's giving you no energy.
Could that come off weird too?
That comes out very creepy like. And Michael is again for the real ones in the back, for the gentlemen. You never want to feel like a creep. Like Michael was trying to tell Pastor Kyle when they talked about it before. Like if you was raised right, you feeling like a creep is not sexy to you. It's not hot. You know what I'm saying? You want to, you absolutely want to court your woman. You absolutely want to go after your woman, but a real man never want to feel like a creep. And if he's courting a legitimate situation, the energy that she's going to give back to him, he will never feel like a creep. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So it's just like the whole Jasmina was just throwing shit on the wall to try to see what sticks. And she did it all season long. And she just ended up with, well, he didn't tell me I was beautiful. Like, what? You literally told him you kissed him out of obligation. How do we get to he didn't come on, y'all. That's why I say I don't want to legitimize it by even talking about it because it's bullshit. She was bullshitting everybody for the entire season. Jasmina is full of shit, period.
It's really sad, and it's just sad to watch because I really do root for Black and brown people to get in spaces where they can grow and love. And it's not to put everything.
Because Michael would have made a great husband,
but
a great participant.
Let me tell y'all something.
Because he was committed.
Y'all know I'm into the signs and everything like that. And his son's sign is Pisces, and they got a lot of shit with them. But one thing that they are good at is longevity. So it would have been nice to see him with somebody because I think that it could have gone to the distance. I agree. Just
somebody who was just at least committed to the process.
She was never committed to the process, so she was never going to be committed to Michael at all. And that's really what this comes down to.
Yeah.
So last but not least, I didn't even want to end on them, but I guess.
All right. So there we go. So you can see that they were kind of going on the same vein that other nut was doing at the beginning of the last video. And again, it potentiates the problem in our community. And they actually have enough nerves to sit there and say that, they're sad because, they really want to see Black love and Black unity, they're all about it. But they're tearing this woman down and they're not holding Michael to the same standard. If they think that she's at fault, then he has just as much weight in the dissolution, of their marriage. And everybody's just piling on this woman. And it really does something to me because I grew up in this kind of environment. I grew up in a Black community in Alabama. Like I said, I'm a 70s baby. So a lot of the negative talk, I mean, if you wanted to have correct English, they would tell you that you're talking proper. You're just speaking English. But according to them, if you don't speak in the same vernacular that they speak in, then you're being extra because you want to be able to enunciate and pronounce words so that you can communicate yourself and educate yourself. But back then, oh my goodness, it's like another level of code switching. So I'm light skinned, and my I'm one of the few. My mother was light skinned, her dad was light skinned. So there are a few. We pop up every so often, in our family, and most of my family is either dark skinned or like like a brown, like a rich brown. And when I was in school again, they used to call me white. And they knew that that I came from black people. They knew what my mother looked like and they knew what my father looked like, but they still wanted to call me white. So this is kind of like that self-hate that goes on in our black community. And I see like a lot of this being aimed at Jasmina. If you were to watch the television show, or even go back and look at that last video and just hear her diction and the way that she communicates herself, she's very what people would consider prim and proper. And another word that they used to say about people like her would be sedity. And the correct English term would be uppity. So white people don't like uppity black people, and black people can't stand other black people that they think are uppity, which really aren't. They just want to be educated. And like I said, speak proper diction. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And it actually serves you well later in your life. I actually wish that I'd actually, paid more attention to my diction as I grew up. I'm really happy with the fact that I love words and I appreciate English. I still see the value in just putting yourself just on another level when it comes to our vocabulary. So that was a rant. But if you kind of want to go over some of the stuff that they were talking about, they said that Jasmina wasn't committed to the process. They accused her of being the one that decided that they didn't want to talk for a month, out of the two of them, not understanding all of the stuff that I showed you guys in that last video. And it's the same blindness. So I put that other lady, that old black lady, on that first one. I'm putting this young couple. They're a young couple. I would say that they're millennials or even Z. I think they're even younger than that. They might be like in their 20s. So anyway, these are another generation of black people coming up who cannot process and ascertain information properly. And they're coming after their own sister. Jasmina has been abused in her life. Well, according to the show, she was abandoned by both of her parents. So when her mother left, her dad got remarried. And then he married a woman. And then after the time, he divorced that woman and he went back to Jamaica and left Jasmina over here with her stepmother. And her stepmother adopted her as her own. I think that's incredible. And for her to have demonstrated this level of growth and humanity and womanhood in this season, I actually am really impressed. I mean, I wouldn't have put up with Michael as long as she did. So I'm going to give her that. I will say in their criticism, of her, she could have battled more than to get sucked into his mess and go the tit for tat. But I'm sure being in a house with somebody who refuses to communicate with you and who doesn't trust you and who doesn't like you, that grates on you after a time. So I can see both of them at that moment really kind of embattled with one another to see who was going to do what. And then, according to the reunion video, it was when they were given an exercise to do by one of the doctors that they were actually able to have a breakthrough and come together. And then that last month, we were able to kind of see them be on that path that really they should have been on during the first month. So there's this woman called Alyssa that they talk about. And they said Jasmina is like Alyssa. So Alyssa is one of the castmates on this season. And she wasn't really nice. I mean, from the day of the wedding, hours after the wedding, she was done. And she didn't want to have anything to do with the guy that they matched her up with. And she's really she lacks self-awareness, And a lot of people are on her because of the way that she presented herself in front of the camera. And so because Jasmina and Alyssa are friends, they have a problem with that. But no one has a problem with Isaac and his friendship with this woman named Lindsay. And him and Lindsay got into it on the plane to the honeymoon. So they go on the honeymoon, I think, the day after the wedding. And so they were all on the same flight to the same place for their honeymoon. And when they were on the plane, this lady, Lindsay, got into it with Isaac. And it caused this whole big thing. And nobody likes Lindsay to this day. So she was another one that got a negative reputation, during the season. But they don't have a problem with him and Lindsay making up with each other and becoming friends. So that's cool. But then when Jasmina is friends with Alyssa, then that means that she has a scarlet letter. She has the same negative connotation on her because she's friends with Alyssa that they have put on Alyssa. But they've given Isaac a pass. So I want you to be able to see the dynamic. I actually might show some of that on the video, when I do this next segment on Isaac and his nutty wife, his nutty Christian wife, Katina. Oh man, that is just something else. And I want you to notice her talk about astrology. See, this is another thing that Christians are stupid about. They're not supposed to be dependent on astrology. My grandmother was really heavy into astrology. So she really, she put that into my spirit. So it's really been hard to break away from that. But once I actually sat down and read the Bible and understand that that's not something that he wants us to be messing around with. But this is how stupid, Christians are. And then she's thinking she's in confidence about what she knows, and she's in ignorance. It really, again, reminds me of Laodicea. I'm going to have to do Revelation 3. I'm going to have to do that. I feel something on the back of my neck. I feel the energy that, I got to do Revelation 3. But Laodicea, that's all I see. So they didn't pick up, even during the reunion, that Michael agreed that they did not talk for a month. And he connected it to being called aggressive. He said that he was fearful because he didn't know how to talk to her. He didn't want to get labeled as aggressive again. So it put him in a situation where he just decided not to talk to her. And I think, I'm not even going to go there. I mean, that's just retarded. They actually both could have contacted the experts. I don't know why they walked around the house for a whole month and didn't talk to each other. That doesn't even make any sense to me, knowing that they only got 8 weeks in the experiment. So that's another situation where they're both at fault, because somebody should have stood up and said, okay, we need help. And they might have actually been able to get that exercise sooner so that they could have had a better opportunity to be successful, at the end. So, just wanted, and then they said the whole friend zone thing. Thank you, Lord. I appreciate that. So, this has been another point that people say over and over and over again, that she friend zoned him. She never liked him. She always, she was never attracted to him. Again, they won't go and pay attention that this joker started an argument. It was a non-argument. He started a fight with her over something that she did not do on the 4th day that she even knew that he was alive on earth. These are arranged marriages. So the bride and the groom, they don't meet each other until they're at the altar. So she literally only knew this man for 3 to 4 days, because it was the morning of day 4 when he did it. So that's insane. Who wants to get into that level of fight with somebody that they don't even know 4 days into knowing them, and then think that that's going to set you up for success? And again, they missed, the whole conversation that they had at dinner, where he agreed, he understood why she could have considered what he was saying as aggressive, even if it wasn't his intention. He still understood why she would feel that way. And so this is just like I keep telling you guys, very, very, very important notations to make, because then we won't be vilifying people in a way that is harmful, to them. This woman has suffered enough, and she doesn't deserve to have social media and people's opinions lambasting her when we were only given so much information. We did not know they weren't talking to each other for a month. So when we see them on television, that was the most that they were interacting with each other. And when the cameras went away, they stopped talking to each other. So there wasn't even a real depiction of where they were, even in the conversations, that we're having, because there was so much other stuff going on that we didn't know about. And I am gonna put this in. I'm gonna put this in to the next video, or maybe, I don't know. The Lord will tell me. But anyway, there was a point when Michael was talking to this guy they call Pastor Cal, and he's one of the experts. And he was telling him that it dawned on him that the stuff that he was doing in the beginning of the relationship, he was just doing it because he thought that it was something that he was supposed to do. And then as they got over that hump and they started to really interact with each other and get to know one another and learn about one another, the things that he was doing out of obligation, he began doing them because he really wanted to do them. So it was kind of like, fake it until you make it, or, you do the work and then you'll reap the benefits of that work, later kind of mentality. And so then they were talking about his wife, Jasmina, and they were talking about the lack of intimacy. And so Michael was saying to the expert that he told Jasmina, well, Jasmina told him that she was kissing him. I mean, I wouldn't have been in the bed with this joker. Okay, let us get this straight. I would have left that house the night that I told you, when she confronted him about the two roommates. So I wouldn't have been there to even kiss him goodnight. So the fact that she was still there kissing him goodnight, the fact that she was still there sleeping in the bed with him, the fact that she was still in the same apartment with him, throughout all of that turbulence, to me, gives her credibility. And it's credibility that few people want to give this woman who really tried. I saw her try just as hard as they said that they think Michael, tried. So it's just really, frustrating. So he said that she told him that she was giving him a kiss every night because she felt like that was something that a wife, should do for her husband. And she was doing it like an obligation. He said that he told her that he didn't want her to feel obligated to give him a kiss every night. And Pastor Cal told him that was stupid, because what he did was shut down an avenue for him to even build intimacy, with her. He had just forgotten 5 seconds that he said he was doing things for her in the beginning out of obligation. And then once they got to a point of understanding, it was no longer an obligation. It was something he wanted to do, but he didn't see that opportunity for his wife. He's like, oh, well, I don't want you to do anything out of obligation for me. But that's what he was doing for her until his mind switched, and the reasoning or the energy behind his actions came from a different place. And him being that way lessened his opportunity to be intimate, with his wife. If she had kept kissing him, who knows? A spark might have, come. And he's in that space with her already, and it's a habit. It's a habit that they will have been building, with each other, so that when the other feelings come, then the kiss can actually turn into a different kind of kiss. You've put that opportunity before you. So now you have this room as a man to take it further. And so you can can come together, bond in a new way, and then, progress, in your relationship. And this is the kind of stuff that really frustrates me, because I think most of these people watch these shows for entertainment, and I don't. I actually watch them because I'm interested in the human dynamic, and how we communicate, with each other, and the decisions, that we make to form relationships, and grow as human beings. Because some people, they get a divorce, but they will have grown and learned a lot about themselves as an individual. They do that a lot on Married at First Sight Australia. And so when I start reviewing those shows next season, then you'll hear me, talk about this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just sad. And if you actually go and you watch the video, you can see the arrogance on both of their faces. It's really disgusting. Their analysis is toxic. It's really toxic. And like I said, I'll talk more about that when I go over the next couple, Isaac and Katina. So I call him Isaac again, but his name is Elijah. So I think that's it. Anything I'm missing, I'll tie it in, on the next video, that I do. Thank you again for your time and attention. And until the next video.